welcome back to another episode. This one is upon request. We will be working through a bit of a kickboxing syllabus. We will be going through all the nitty-gritties, the tiny things, the beginner stuff. It's going to be pretty nice. Now we're going to be working on our fighting stance. I like my feet to be a little bit wider than shoulder width or shoulder width, with my left foot taking one step to the front. Now, this is so that you can have a good base. Make sure you can bend your knees and you can move around easily. You shouldn't be stuck in the mud, and you should never lock your knees. Your hands should be up and your elbows should be in. It looks a little bit like this, almost like you're covering your face, but you can still see your opponent and you're safely taking care of your ribs. Make sure mobility is a thing. Now, you want to be adjusting range constantly. Range is something you're going to struggle with for a while, but as long as you've got good mobility on your feet, the rest will be a breeze. Now, let's talk about the first punch, which is called a jab. You will be using your undominant hand. I'm right-handed, so I'll be using my left hand, which is connected to my front leg. This is a quick punch called a jab. It just comes out and comes back to my face. Slight hip rotation and ankle rotation adjusts speed and power. Try your best not to lock your elbow or push the bag. It has to be a snap, and it has to come back to your face quickly for defensive reasons. So from your fighting stance, you pump out a jab really quick. This is not a powerful punch. This is just for speed. And good rotation will give you good extension, maximizing the range you can punch. I'm standing a little bit close to the bag for reasons to prevent injury, but during a fight you can actually push the extension a little bit. Now we'll be talking about the heavy hand, a straight punch from your dominant hand. This is called a cross or a straight, depending on which syllabus you take. This punch automatically holds more power because it is your dominant hand, and because it sits behind, it has more rotational force. The jab is quick, and we do not pull back. All punches are thrown directly from its chamber. A chamber is when I want to throw a kick, I have to chamber before I kick. And because my hands are up and in, they're automatically in a chamber. And this is also for defensive reasons, so that my hands do not have to move far to protect my face. So, jab and cross are my two straight punches. Now, following the theme of straight attacks, we will be using a front kick, also known Mai Geri. Simply raising the knee and extending, also with a bit of hips, you produce a lot of force. Now, this is used to create space between you and your opponent, and in karate and taekwondo, this is also like a spear. The back leg automatically holds more power, but the main mechanics is raising your knee up to hip height or higher and striking your opponent in the midsection above the belt. You must move in with your hips to utilize as much power as possible. The other leg must hold your weight, and you should try your best not to throw your hands down while kicking. Your hands should always stay up during kicks, otherwise you'll just be opening yourself up for a mean counterattack. Front kicks and front punches can actually be all you need to stop fights. Now, I usually fight Thai style, which means my hands are a bit more open, with palms facing towards my opponent, and it also affects what I do with my hands while I'm kicking. But because this is kickboxing, we will be doing it Dutch style. This is very boxing focused and defense focused. So, now we will be working on our first round punch called a hook. It is almost like stirring a pot, but try your best not to loop too far. Keep it short, keep it tight, and make sure your elbow is at a 90-degree angle. Your arm should be perfectly horizontal. Stirring a pot means I'm bringing my hand straight back to my face. If I pause where I hit my target and just bring it back, I guess it could work, but it's not fast. This is very dangerous. You'll be leaving yourself open. Now, stirring the pot, I'll be bringing my hand straight back to my chin immediately, because that is the priority of defense, is keeping your chin tucked and put away. Keeping your chin tucked basically means I tuck my chin into my throat ever so slightly, because you don't want to stand there chin out and see stars 5 seconds into a fight. So now you have a hook. This is a short range punch and a medium range punch. Oh, I just slipped there a little bit, never mind. Now, this is a very powerful punch due to its ability to utilize rotational force from your ankle, hip, shoulder, torso, all just driven into your opponent. It is very commonly thrown in a jab cross hook combo, which is punch 1, 2, and 3. It's very simple and very effective. Now, we will be working on one of my favorite kicks, also the easiest kick from Muay Thai, Taekwondo, Karate, and Kickboxing. This is called Mawashi Geri, also known as a roundhouse. Step by step it looks complicated, but when I throw it for real, it's a lot easier, with a lot of momentum. Pivoting and rotating on my foot, my heel that's on the floor. Well, I'm not on my heel, I'm actually standing on my toes when I throw this kick. Your foot should rotate. Your heel should almost be pointing towards your target, more or less. This is so that you do not turn off the tendons in your knee. Unless you've got medical aid, then by all means, keep your foot planted. This is a type of injury that would take up to 8 months to heal. Now, because I also enjoy Thai style, I jerk my arm and torso a little bit, not forcing my shoulder forward and staying more square. The video actually cut out over there, that's why we have a bit of a different light. Now, if I kick low, it is Gedan Mawashi Geri. Midsection is just Mawashi Geri, and a high kick Mawashi is called Jodan Mawashi Geri. Now we have a jab, a cross, a hook, a front kick, and a Mawashi, also known as a roundhouse. Here are where you're going to be talking about the uppercut, which is a bit of a difficult punch. It's like the Yokogeri of punches. It has many steps, but is very effective if you know how to use it. This punch comes from below and should not be traveling straight up. It should be pumped out at a 45-degree angle from below. First step is by rolling the opposite shoulder forward and then throwing the punch. This punch is actually a counterattack and is used for passive fighters or people who like to fight aggressively on the inside. But those details we will be discussing later. This is a good punch that I personally enjoy, but I've not really managed to use it. So, jab, cross, hook, uppercut, Mai Geri, and Mawashi, all balanced with a good fighting stance. Thank you for watching. And if you want to practice, use a wall.